And so after that, every time she dropped off a drink, I would take a sip and she'd be like, is it as good as Yulia? Is that a drink that Yulia would make? Alright, y'all, so I am on board. I have a porthole room, which is always nice, always fun. So far the ship is really unique. I can definitely see why people love the fantasy class so much. This is my first fantasy class ship. Not a whole lot happening right now. We're about to have sail away maybe in like an hour and a half or so, 2 hours. And then, so that'll be probably the next thing you see, unless I go find a bar or something, which, you know, I probably will. But I'll take you with me. We'll see what we see and do what we do. And we'll talk soon. So the hallway access to my room on deck 7 actually led out to the lobby atrium, which I thought was a really convenient location, and so I stopped by the lobby bar and grabbed a drink there. That didn't end up being my favorite bar. It was always just a little bit too busy and there wasn't always a seat for me there. On other ships in the past, I have really enjoyed the lobby bar, but on Elation, while it was fine, it wasn't really my favorite. But I hung out in the lobby for a little bit, got some footage of the kind of grand aesthetic of the decor and stuff, and then I made my way up to the pool deck. The Lido deck was pretty hoppin' and poppin' as people were up there getting ready for sail away. That space on the Carnival Elation actually really impresses me because it's so big in relation to the size of the ship. I've actually seen ships that are larger than the Elation that have smaller pool decks than this, but obviously Carnival has always been known for the outdoor entertainment, pool activities, deck games, things like that. I grabbed a Miami Vice, which has become a bit of an embarkation day tradition for me, but there was still quite a bit of time left until the sail away, so I explored the ship a little bit more. One thing that I really found interesting on the Carnival Elation is that the lifeboats are on the pool deck. On newer ships, they've sort of carved into the side of the ship and put the lifeboats kind of halfway up, but on older ships it was definitely common to have the lifeboats on the upper pool deck. But anyway, even though I had already had a blue iguana burrito when I boarded, I was actually craving a guy's burger, so I went and grabbed one of those and ate that on the pool deck while I waited for the sail away party to start, which happened almost immediately afterwards, and of course everybody was out there doing line dances and the fun squad and everybody was pumping everybody up. In my opinion, Carnival does the best sail away events, and Dr. Seuss and his Two Things came out and we got to meet some of the staff and entertainment people, including the kids club team, and that concluded with the conga line because obviously why wouldn't it, and people were definitely into it, and it was nice having kind of a bird's eye view from the deck above. One of my favorite things to do on cruises is to people watch. But from there I decided to go explore some of the outdoor areas of the ship, and then I noticed that they were pulling away the mooring lines from the dock, and so of course I knew we were getting ready to leave, which is always a cool moment of any sailing because then, you know, that's the official start of the adventure. Within minutes we pushed off the dock, and it never ceases to impress me just how maneuverable cruise ships are. I believe the Carnival Elation was one of the first cruise ships to have Azipod engines put on it, at least as far as Carnival goes. And as you can see, the decks were absolutely loaded with people. Our ship was pretty much maxed out. We were actually over the double occupancy amount for the ship, which meant a lot of the Pullman beds and pull-out couches and stuff were full of people as well. But honestly, it didn't feel overly crowded. I've been on larger ships with less people that felt more crowded than this one, so that's kind of a testament to how this ship was designed, even with some of the crazy modifications that increase the guest capacity. One thing that's interesting about Jacksonville, and another reason why it reminds me of the Baltimore cruise port, is that you actually have to pass under this bridge. I believe it's called the Dames Point Bridge. I could be wrong, I'm not that familiar with Jacksonville, but I know most of the newer Carnival ships won't even fit under that bridge, so that's why they're a little bit limited on which ships can be there. And we cleared it with only a few feet from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the bridge, and passing under that bridge was kind of an event in and of itself. After clearing the bridge, I decided to go back on board because it was almost dinner time and I wanted to kind of explore and get a drink at Alchemy before I went down to dinner. And I passed through the casino and the sort of promenade area, and it worked out perfectly because the Alchemy bar was right above the dining room that I was assigned to, so I pretty much went up there every night before dinner to grab a drink. If you're not familiar with Alchemy, I believe that it's Carnival's best bar concept. But anyway, after a couple of drinks up there, it was time for dinner.
All I want
after dinner, they had the LGBTQ get-together, which conveniently was at Alchemy. And this is where I actually saw Peter again, which is the Fun Squad member that I had met in Miami. And he, of course, recognized and remembered me right away. And it was a pretty cool LGBTQ group, much younger than I'm used to, which isn't a bad thing. And we all actually hung out pretty much every night the entire cruise. But yeah, after several drinks there, I decided it was time to call it a night.
Hi, friends. So no towel animal tonight. But I did meet my room steward earlier, and I'm not surprised that he didn't do like a second sort of turn down service tonight. I'm sure I'll get a towel animal tomorrow. But one thing that's super interesting is that we have USB ports by the bed. And I think that this might be the first Carnival cruise ever that has had a USB port by the bed like that. That's kind of impressive to me. Especially since, like, I don't know if you know this, but this ship is old. I mean, it's been revamped recently, but other ships have been revamped too without USBs by the bed. But this ship is 1997, 98, I think. And look at that. USBs by the bed. That's awesome. But anyway, it's time for bed. Many of you know that if you have the Cheers package on Carnival, there's a 15 drink limit. I hit 13 tonight. So this lovely old fashioned was my 13th drink. So I decided to get it as a nightcap, along with a bottle of water, of course, because, you know, don't want to be hurting too much tomorrow. But anyway, yeah. 13 out of 15 day one. I think that might be the highest number I hit all week, but, you know, we have a sea day at the end as well, so I might do it on night 4, get close to 15. I hit it off with the Alchemy bartenders, so shout out to Andrea and Jose at Alchemy. I'm hoping that you all can live up to Yulia's standards. That's actually kind of funny because I had mentioned to Andrea that on Carnival Splendor I met Yulia, and that Yulia was great. She's the best bartender I've ever had. She made Alchemy so special for, like, to me, and so after that, every time she dropped off a drink, I would take a sip and she'd be like, "Is it as good as Yulia? Is that a drink that Yulia would make?" And she's obviously teasing me, but I should not have said that. I feel like I'm being punished a little bit about liking Yulia. Yulia, if you're watching, I love you. Andrea, if you're watching, I love you too. But anyway, everybody else, thank you so much for everything that you all do. But yeah, I want to thank you all for traveling with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. Cheers to you, my friends. And y'all have a good night.